would happen that week.
I'd feel
If
guilty.
nobody comes,
If no one came, we'd lose 37,000.
you'd lose so much money, it wouldn't be fun.
And the bank said the bank's gonna look at, see, we have a loan with them that's 5,000 years due, and she's looking at letting us just pay the interest and wrap it around one more year.
Well, it's just like when we did budget.
I don't care.
We got one more person.
Oh, do we? Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we'll put Susan likes to be able to hear.
Okay.
That'll be Susan's spot. And she's.
Meeting Thursday with the health department and the school system. 9:30. For guidance on just about that, we get whatever.
Yeah, I got 3 houses to sell in Florida now.
Linda and Diane to-
One's a good fishing house.
Okay.
It's located, about half a mile from Lake Eustis, half a mile from Lake Griffin and Lake Harris. If you get on those, you get to St. John's. About probably a mile and a half from the locks.
What's the market like there?
Just not a whole pan, just like a four pan.
It's kind of stable. There's
I will
nothing-
put that on my calendar.
So we can kind of.
It's not a,
I will put that on my calendar. Right now is do not have it.
That's Melinda.
Hi.
Harbor, we're on 15 houses. Yeah.
Melinda, I think I'm the only one that can see you here. The rest of them are.
Okay.
As long as we can hear
Okay,
them.
how are you? I'm good.
Let me turn that volume down. She's a little bit loud. Yeah.
Yikes.
John Holder, H-O-L-D-E-R.
Can drag it over.
And one boy's named Aaron McKinney.
There she is.
Let's be honest, all people my age or so, do you not think of the Brady Bunch when you see those Zoom meetings?
Do I need to put a mask on?
Yeah.
I'll put my said. Hey, Melinda, did you get my text?
Yes.
Can you do that per se?
Yes, I answered it.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did.
Might
I'm
turn
sorry,
down just a little.
I'm in Newland, we're in another time zone. Yeah, put that on your calendar, okay?
Okay.
Who all have you talked to? Consensus.
Our board, community, town of Banner Elk, Banner Elk Police.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Melinda, we're just waiting on Susan. She missed the turn in, so she should be here momentarily.
Okay.
I didn't even know we were meeting here.
What?
Huh?
Where have you been?
Don't you read?
It's in red.
Really? I'm not sure I got
The
that.
email was in red. We're meeting at the egg.
I must not have got that. I don't have it here.
Now, let's see. Clayton Harpold, Dave Smith,
Yeah,
Eric Burr.
it's probably still on my phone.
They put big red letters. Everyone.
I understand, but it's been crazy, I tell you, in my world.
As long as it's crazy good, not crazy bad.
Yeah.
Here she comes.
Perfect timing because it's just now 5 o'clock.
So basically, you're saying if you show that message, it's.
Sorry. Oh, you're
Sorry,
fine.
you're right on time.
Drove right by me.
Or the King was 25 at this time.
Dude, did you hear that?
And get Leroy.
That's
Gonna be the new watchword.
Oh, call you make me mad. I'm gonna get up. Okay. Are we like on live?
Yeah.
Oh, I did it. Oh, boy. Yeah. Our sheriff was live one day, we forgot. We were all trying to first to this. He said, I will, I thought it.
Okay. The meeting will come to order. First order of business is to address and approve our June 29th meeting minutes. Are there any additions, amendments, or edits to the meeting minutes? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve. Move to accept. Do I have a second? Dave, all those in favor signify by raising your hand. As you see see from the agenda.
Can't hear anything.
Vote,
Can't hear you.
okay. Can you hear
I'm
me
sorry,
now?
I can't hear anything.
Can't hear it.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
Must have heard that.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, better.
Let me just, maybe if I drop the mask, that'll help too. So what I'm going to say is, we're going to interrupt this regularly scheduled meeting for a special announcement. Melinda and I had a lengthy conversation this afternoon. And so before we look at this, I want to put out a proposal based upon what we discussed. Melinda has come up with the idea that we link the economic development website directly with the Avery County Chamber of Commerce. And that we use the firm that she uses in Asheville to build out glitz in our website. And then we'll be able to administer the website ourselves using both Kate's son and Dennis, if Philip approves. And I gotta tell you, the more that Melinda and I spoke, the more enthusiastic I became that we don't know what the cost would be, but I suspect that it will probably be $5,000 or less, which I'm sure the Board of Commissioners would like. And I think we could accomplish what I think we all agree, or for the most part, agree on. We've got to improve the glitz of our economic development website. And what better place to have it located in the Avery County Chamber of Commerce? That'll still mean, with board approval and Philip's approval, that when you go to the Avery County website, you'll still see economic development there, if that's they're involved in site selection. But when you click on it, that you're going to go directly over to Avery County Chamber of Commerce. And if we can, we'd like to set it up so that will take you then to the chamber site economic development. And I think we can do that. We can improve the glitz. We can make it very user-friendly. We can make it intuitive. And I can't think of a better place from the standpoint of how many people are looking at Avery County, maybe not at the moment, but hopefully someday, from the standpoint of tourism and recreation. And at the same time, if they're at the county site, there's economic development. So Melinda, if you heard all of that, please add, because this is your idea and I am just so enthusiastic about it.
Did you say to add, Ken? I can hardly understand what you're saying.
Yes, anything that you'd like to add relative to this, your idea of linking the Avery County Economic Development site to the Avery County Cooperative Extension, Avery County Chamber of Commerce, based upon the conversation that you and I had this afternoon.
Right. Well, I think if it, once we find out what that would involve, we would just add on, it would be that structure we would have to pay Boomer to do, just like when he recreated our site of putting the pull down basically from the top part of the page, however we want it to look. And then of course, new development of how we want that front page to look, that they'd come right on and see what we would want them to see. Basically, we could work out the details of, I know I pay $195 quarterly to Big Boom Design for email hosting, the GoDaddy, WordPress, the whole thing. So, and then if it's extra work that we cannot do ourselves, then we, are then charged. But basically that's what we pay quarterly for just the regular maintenance. It is through WordPress, which when we had them redesign the website a couple years ago is very user friendly. And I'm sure Dennis, you might be familiar with that, but we can certainly find out what that would involve and how much. And it might be a good option before we go ahead and do anything else.
So, that said, let's get some input from around the room, and then we can go on and we can look at web links, we can look at local intel. Just as a reminder, if you're looking at local intel, what we're looking at is basically $4,850 upfront this year. But if we like it, we want to continue. The annual cost is up to about $8,000. Web links basically saying $5,000. You're going to design the website. There it is, ready to go, and their cost then is $290 to basically maintain it, and $200 an hour if you want additional assistance and help. I just think that Melinda's idea bears us looking into getting in touch with her company and telling them what we would like to accomplish and get an idea what their cost would be on the basis of the one-time cost to build it out. Melinda also asked me this afternoon, what did we actually get for the free site that Local Intel was proposing? What that site basic link, I shouldn't call it a site, I should call it a link. What that link really does is they would take all of the information that we currently have in our resource directory and they would plop it into that link. So that's what you're going to get for free. Yes, it would probably look a lot glitzier than what we currently have, but that's really all it is. The transfer of that resource information into that link. So, floor is open. Somebody say something.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What are we hoping to, what's the end goal? What are we hoping to generate from doing any of this?
Anyone, be that a new entrepreneur, someone looking to expand their business, grow their business, when you come to the current site that we have, it is static, in my opinion, it's uninteresting. And when I look at the Google stats for the site, Dennis, jump in if you want, we've got a fair number of hits, but we don't really have people spending a lot of time. And I want to add something. You all know Alan Cook, Maryland Community College. He and I were having a conversation at this point about 2 weeks ago. And we were discussing, we each had a similar thought, and that was, given what we're seeing happening in the country today, the potential for people who are living in urban areas to move, get somewhere where they feel it is a safer environment for their family is very high. I'm talking to Melinda this afternoon, and I believe it is her sister's daughter who came down here from New York City, spent a month, and is in the process of moving. So, Jerry, to answer your question, what I'd like to see myself from my position is that whether it's anyone who is interested in performing a site selection project, and they're looking at Mitchell, they're looking at Ash, they're looking at Tennessee. Some of these sites are pretty good. I mean, they're attractive. You get there, you want to stay on the site. You want to look for more information. I don't see that with what we have, and that's what got this project underway. And does that answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, what's the with this website, are we hoping that someone who looks at it can go there, find what he needs to know about starting this in Edgewood County as far as the legal ramifications, and then find a possible site or find resources, find those sites? I mean, what if I'm a entrepreneur looking at Avery County, what am I going to get out of looking at the site of chip? You know, are we going to actually have information that's going to be benefiting from starting a business? And how are we going to generate that? That causes us to generate that type of information. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think, Gary,
I'm sort of cloudy on what the end result's supposed to be.
I guess from my own background, if you're talking a multinational that's involved in site selection, they're going to look at Avery County, and what they're going to learn is we don't have a highway, we don't have railroads, we don't have an international airport. We've got a lot of things against us from a large international. Where are we going to make the best inroads with that small entrepreneur? If I was to want to tell you what the goal would be, it's that easy when that person who has been working that day sits down with their spouse or significant other or whatever and says, wow, I was outside, I looked at a whole bunch, but Avery County, from the standpoint of what the Avery County offers, whether it's education, whether it's healthcare, whether it's quality of life, whether it's safety, that you could grab that individual and have Avery County move to the top of their list when they're thinking about where are we going to relocate our business and our family to? Where do we want to start a business? Where do we want to make this capital investment and feel that we're going to succeed? And I think when you're talking about that small entrepreneur, Avery County has just so much to offer.
I like the second, the concept. I think that when an entrepreneur looks where to go with the family, look at quality of life, and the combination of the Avery Chamber of Commerce site with the business part of our site is what they look at. They won't just make the business decision, but they look at quality. If they're going to relocate, they can do their business anywhere. So they're going to look at quality of life, and I think then be co-located is great. They're going to want to know, you know, where can we go fishing? Where can the recreation for the kids, schools, all of that. That's sort of a pre-qualifier for many that can locate their business anywhere. Then they look at the infrastructure. Do we have the internet, which is key? And then, as now it's in my lab, what about housing?
Healthcare.
Healthcare, yeah, hospital, you know, all of that stuff, yeah, in quality of life. So I support this co-location big time.
And I think that's really good, Eric, you're correct. In my opinion, boiling down to quality of life, to move my family and my business to this town. I just think we've got so much to offer. But it's a small entrepreneur. I wish we had 100% broadband coverage in Avery County. We don't. Hopefully we'll get there. But I think we still have enough coverage. I see the bigger problem with housing, whether that's rental or that's purchase. I mean,
Workforce.
yeah, you got a ready workforce too. That's the short term. And you got resources like Malin Community College. I got a call last week, I'm terrible with his name. It's a gentleman here in Newton who has a landscaping business, and he wanted to expand it. And he wanted some information on how do I go about it, because I think it's just kind of, you know, what you do on the table. And boom, like, Jerry, do you know who it was?
No.
Like that. I've got Malin Community College. I gave him Alan, his name is this site is gonna be the best thing possible. He's gonna have all his questions asked, and he's gonna have someone that will actually hold his hand to some extent to bring him through the various permitting or application processes.
Let me make one more point. So we talked about family schools and this and that and the other. When we look at the mobility of entrepreneurs, the people with family and have already bought a house in Charlotte, etc., they are less able to move quickly. You have an entrepreneur, the young guy that's starting a business that rents an apartment somewhere, he can up and leave. And I think we cannot get into the rut in every county of thinking about that we're only a family-friendly county. We have to look at what do we do for young people. Number one, we have problem with them leaving. Number two, we want to attract more. I think this is the big gap in Avery County. And they have the possibility of Asheville and all of these other young people attracted. And we got to be in Minneapolis or something to get that young people. We can't afford to have them all live in Boone and then come over here and do a job and then go back.
No, if you wanna,
Take the money from the entrepreneur, go and spend it in Boone. Live in Boone, spend money in Boone, whatever. And I'm always frustrated about all the people that come back from Avery when I come back from Boone, that they probably worked and they're going back to live there. We gotta do something.
any other comments?
Well, I think from a commissioner standpoint, the question Jerry asked is the question that will be asked from the board in terms of ongoing funding for, I'm not just talking about this year, but in the future, it will be, when it's presented, the question will be, what value are we receiving? What
What do we get out of it?
who is this reaching? What is, as opposed to just cycling information again. There has to be a different text, or like what Eric was talking about, different things that would enable us to hang the value of saying, okay, this is going to do something different than what we have been doing. And I think that would be your caveat, that would be the means to approach the board in terms of funding ongoing, is what is this generating new that we didn't have before, in terms of movement, in terms of people, businesses, interest, or whatever. I think that's what you've been saying here is those types of things that's going to need to be presented to them.
And I think, Dennis, you make a good point. And I would add to that is you have to look at our competition. And when you look at some of the EDC sites and you look at some of the county sites, we really don't care. And so I think you make a good point that would be one of the things that we need as a county. We need to appear competitive when someone is going through the process of site selection, that they look at our site, and if they at least don't say it's as good as the rest, better, what I'm hoping for is they, wowed by it. And they're wowed by the information that they get from it, both from a business point of view as well as a family and quality of life point of view. So thank you for that.
And this is sort of getting into Dave's territory, but in our little Airbnb that we do, I've had in the last 2 months 3 different couples come to stay who their purpose was to investigate moving here. Looking at properties, or come to, one of them was to close on the house. They stayed. So that, I think what you're talking about of the dynamics of change of you know, the reverse of what happened in the forties and fifties, everybody was leaving the country, going to the city. Now it's gonna be
Coming
the
back.
reverse exodus. And, I think we're beginning to see that. I think it's pretty evident.
So my question,
That's it.
if I understand it right, so web links would link the website.
No, it would not be relevant.
No, that's the provider. They're gonna provide.
Okay,
the
this
service.
other company. But they wouldn't manage the information. We still have to build the information, correct?
We have to provide the information. Yes. And that,
And like what Dave did back in April. He worked on it mainly, I cheerlead and helped a little bit, but here, the information's out there, we just, you know, that's why I'm still back to that first presentation where they linked all that information where it was easy to get to. Does this company do that?
Yes.
Okay.
and so what we're saying, Philip, is when we talk to the company in Asheville that Melinda has been working with, I guess, the last 7 years.
So all this that we printed on paper would be linked
Would
on
be
our website.
yes, and the link would be that if you came to the averycounty.gov website, right there on the front, if you were there because you're interested in economic development, when you click on economic development, it's going straight over to Avery County Chamber of Commerce and their site. And here then is where you're going to hopefully see, here's where you're going to see all of that information. And it's very.
So what's the advantage of going to the Chamber of Commerce? Why can't they just click it on ours and there it is, bam? What's the advantage of going to the Chamber? I guess my question.
Well, Boomer could do it for us. He did the tree association for years. You look at it for the fair. Very confident WordPress. It's very user friendly.
So is there,
In other words,
the advantage is what?
the biggest advantage that I see is that if, when you're going to the Avery County Chamber site, for whatever reason, here is going to be an opportunity to take a look at economic development. And we know we've got way more people that are accessing the chamber site than they are Avery County's website and our economic development page.
But don't they access from both sides? I mean, they come into the Avery County site and there's the link there and they get. So, I mean, we get the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the big thing now, Eric, is this mass of people that's accessing the chamber site.
Yeah.
See if there's any interest whatsoever in economic development. There it is. Click on it. Boom. There's all of your individual pages that are going to provide Philip all of this information that you've gathered.
Another question that I think will come up that we need to address or speak down is from a security and legal standpoint of having the link from the county site to a private, albeit still public, but a private developer. You know, what are we reverse engineering ourselves to potentially? I think that's an issue that we need to really dissect to be sure that there's not issues there that can cause us harm for those. As we know, there's a lot of folks out there whose their purpose in life is to do what trouble they have.
And that's why, having spoken to Dennis, why I would advocate for the fact that Dennis be an administrator.
So it would just be, when I go to the chamber site, there would be a link that would say Avery County Economic Development.
Yeah. And again, in a way that is promoting the fact that it's there, not some small type at the bottom of the page that, you may miss. And I think in my conversation with Melinda, and I don't know if she's hearing me or not, that she would be very amenable to making this link very, very visible and prominent. Prominent, right? Because it does not bother her site whatsoever. If someone is, they just, all they're interested in is finding out is what are the dates of the Woolly Worm Festival that takes place. All of that's going to be just exactly as it is current. But right up here, if you're interested, click on it, and boom, there you've got something that grabs you, gets your attention.
If it's, and I agree with Eric in this regard, if it's cost effective, secure, stable, and gives us more bang for the buck, I think it's a viable, certainly a viable option. But I think all those aspects need to be examined before we go forward.
And that's why I did this the way I did, Dennis, because it only had conversation with
Yeah.
women. And so what I'm proposing is that we take leveling and local intel and put it off to the side today and look into all of these questions, particularly the big one is money. What would it cost to do this?
Can I ask Melinda a question? Melinda,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah, a little, I'm having a hard time, but go ahead.
With Boomer, what is he gonna charge? I mean, these pages will be on the chamber website. So I know that there's, when he did it for us, we got so many pages, and then above and beyond that, we got charged extra. So how are we gonna deal with that aspect?
That's what I have to find out. When he did our structure, it's called the back structure of the site, we had to see, we had to tell him exactly what we wanted. I know it would be minimal because we already have our structure. It would be basically, I would think, one of the key pull downs, like if you go on averycounty.com right now, and you look at the way our site is laid out and we have all the pull downs at the top part of the page, we would want, I would think, one that says economic development, and you click on, and then you have your pull down on the actual site, and it would just depend on what you want there. I personally wouldn't eliminate also what you do on the averycountync.gov. I would leave all of that there. You would just have an alternative and get both websites having your information, having the EDC information on averycounty.com, and we could create we can make it however we want to. If you want your townships to also be on there, like we do now with Beach Mountain and the Y and all that, you could incorporate as much or as little as you want.
We could actually, when you talk to Boomer, see what it'd be for us to be able to, I mean, we could actually house the site, the information on the website here, and have blind links from the Chamber's website. So when it goes to EDC, they pull them back to here. So I see is that as time goes on, more information. Normally these with these platform type things, there's initial cost to set it up, and there's a maintenance fee, and then if you do more, if you get more things done than you should, there's an additional fee. But if we could just have the actual information stored on the Avery County EDC website as blind pages, and then they go to the chamber and hit the links and pull them back, we could add information indefinitely without increasing her cost or our cost. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
why I said that Dennis is allowed to administrate. So for example, next year, when let's say the new wing of the hospital opens up, we want to put something there relative to our healthcare. Dennis would be able to put that in, and it would appear identical whether you access it to the county website or you went to the chamber site.
The only question is whether or not Boomer would allow that. 'Cause
Right.
He's not gonna he's gonna put the links, he's not gonna allow him to change stuff on the chamber's website. He'll change stuff on the chamber's website. So the links and stuff, we have to come up with a pretty good set of what we're gonna use from the get-go, without being added on.
Good point.
And right now, we pay, if we do, and you can have it either way. He can make all the changes where we pay him to do a lot of the maintenance, but since it's WordPress and we all have been trained, and I have a computer guru working at the chamber who can go online and he makes all of our updates, which saves us a considerable amount of money from asking Boomer to do it. Now, if it's a structural type thing and it's something we cannot do, then Boomer does it. For instance, when we had the Avery Guide, every year we have to have the new link put on there for the Avery Guide. He charged us $166 to go in and add the new guide and do all the links and whatever he had to do, but that was a one-time fee. And we pay, like I said, we pay $195 quarterly for his regular email hosting, GoDaddy, and all of that. But if we can and we figure it out ourselves, we do a lot of all that maintenance, updates of photos and major updating we do in the office. So it saves us a lot of money.
And Dennis, I think, Gary jumped in, or Dennis jumped in. Whether it's WebLink or local income, they are literally going to build the structure. That's built into that price. What Melinda is saying is, we've already got the structure, you know? So that's what it's making me think that he's going to come in with a ticket considerably less than what we were budget for.
Because you'll have to build a platform.
Exactly.
And whether we use them or Boomer or whoever, we still got to come up with information that goes on there anyway.
And
Right.
a lot of that Philip has over there. That's the, no matter where you go, it's what we've learned, and here you help with this, is, you know, they don't research the information that they're going to put. You have to provide it to them. They just simply build it in, so it's intuitive, it's user-friendly, and it's structured in a way that based on their experience makes sense to someone who's involved in site.
I think there's an excellent model already out there with the actual chamber.
There's
And the actual chamber, when you go to, you type in actualchamber.org, the first thing that comes up is economic development. You want to go to their page, you click that, and you scroll up, and then here's the Chamber of Commerce. You want to go to businesses that are already there and learn about them, click that. But it's all housed in one area, and their staff is all housed in one. So when I go down and talk to economic development people in Nashville, I'm actually going to the chamber. It's all integrated.
Under one roof.
Means there's a lot of economy of scale in building one source of information for businesses, businesses and businesses who want to bring that.
And
I see no downsides except for the ones that
It'd be good to have a conversation with Boomer and see what he's willing to do, charge, whatnot. So, I mean, we don't have, what platform do we use in the county?
it's some company called Revise. And basically it's the same thing as what the chamber's doing, it's just a different provider. They'll do pretty much all the same stuff, but like the downfall of that one is this is a bigger company and you don't know the people that's doing the work for you personally like you would.
And I also use Boomer, and I got a new website built last year. Mine is 114. That was about $10,000.
Okay, Okay, you guys gotta tell me who Boomer is.
River Craftsman is called Big Boom Design, and he started as one guy, but that was about 12 or 13 years ago, and now he's got a whole team of people
And he's where?
in Asheville.
Oh,
Used to be here.
It's a red squirrel, it's supposed to, but.
I saw him at my first meeting.
So what do we do next?
Well, I think if we're in agreement, we would simply take web links and local links, I'll put them aside. I'll get in contact with Melinda and if you'd like to join or anyone else, you'll set up a meeting so that we can start the process of learning
What's available?
what's available, how much it's going to cost, how practical it is to implement, and move forward and hopefully then come back, maybe not next month, but the month after, and say, you know, here's what we've learned, and we're going to recommend to all of you all, that we pursue this or we're not.
And then when we get it nailed down,
It'd be nice, I know with WordPress, you as a user can add lots, I mean, you visiting the site, you can do a lot of stuff. And one of the things that'd be great to do is capture who's coming, by getting their name and address, contact information.
Yeah.
And that way you can start a listing of possible entrepreneurs or businesses that may be looking. And then we could research it and seek out them. And then, you know, when you go after someone and you've done your research, they're like, wow, you actually, small guys gonna say, wow, they actually looked at it. Maybe there must be something special happening out there. So it gives us a chance to hone in and bring people in.
Well, it also gives you guys an opportunity to see where you might, and this is down the road, I know, but you might want to start advertising. And it'd be better to start advertising where people are already interested in it. And you'll see that when you look at the Google Analytics on your website. So, it's, you know, it's the next step.
Make that good broadband profit, you know.
So they're making
That's not that's a leap.
Why are you looking over here?
But it is a point though, because people like.
government can't spend money on infrastructure. But I can go after grants, but now there's talk, so we'll see what happens.
Out of all this CARES money that's out there, or has been out there,
I've been told I can't spend it on broadband.
but they
I'm
were
gonna find
talking
it
about
for the-
broadband out of it.
Huh?
They were talking about increasing broadband.
That word that started with the T and ends with the K, talk.
So, okay. Dave, your opinion.
I think everything everybody's discussed is fine. I don't really know a whole lot about this. So I think that we need to look into it. We need to kind of sit down and see how we're gonna formulate everything. I mean, I've got some opinions on what I'd like to see in it, you know, but as far as how to go about doing it, you know, I don't know any of these companies you're talking about.
I'm the same way, Dave. I mean, I don't have an understanding of all that side of it,
Yeah,
but putting, you know, being able to link with the Chamber of Commerce, using a platform that's already there, it sounds to me like we're, you know, somebody can look at the chamber and they see English County Economic Development. And you're not putting out extra money. I mean, yes, you give out money, but you're not putting out bukus of money on a continual basis.
Hey, Melinda, how many hits you get a month?
You know, I need to recheck that. I don't know. My social media folks know all that, and I'm sorry, I didn't. We've
Okay,
already gone today when I called back, so we'll find that out.
okay, thank you.
Is it your thoughts?
I just need to know how to spell Boomer. BOOMER.
you know, one of the things,
agree with Dave. I'm exactly where he is. I don't understand enough of the technical talk to have an opinion, but particularly with web links, if all they're gonna give us for a lot of money is drag and drop, This sounds like a much better solution.
You're in favor of postponing.
Absolutely, I'm in favor of postponing
Yeah.
and investigating this.
Okay? I think you're on board.
Kate, what's your new, when did you build a new page?
We built a new page last year. I had a Joomla site and it was awful and I messed it up every day. And I wanted a WordPress site, so I had to convert everything. And it is real functional and you can very intuitively, you can make the changes yourself. Yeah.
David, it's kind of like, you don't have to know what goes in sausage to like sausage.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't have to know all the technical what's in it to appreciate the product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably best if you don't know what's in sausage to like.
Well, it's a catch-22 as far as I can see, for a lot of reasons, It's kind of hard to bring workforce people in here when there's no work.
Yeah.
So it's like chicken and the egg, but we've talked about this and we've dealt with the gentleman from the state and stuff. And one of the things that I would add that on the website for businesses that are looking at coming in, we need to include some of the businesses that are already here, like the trucking industry, for example. A lot of these businesses coming in could be utilizing this trucking industry. So we need to let them know what we've already got here that can help them with their businesses. And, I think if we're going to, put a package together, we need to concentrate on all this stuff to make it look enticing. We've got to have something for the young people, and I was just sitting here thinking that Cannon basketball court, that should be part of our website. They can go out there and play basketball. They've got the baseball
Out there in
there. They've got everything there, so I mean, that all needs to be a part of selling our town. And there's a lot of things here for people to come to.
And I think it becomes less static when you're exactly what you're talking about. You can provide photographs. Like a thing, not
Yeah.
just to read about. Okay, I'm assuming you're on board. I'm on board. Gary?
I'll ask a big question. There's more than one chamber, correct? If the Banner Oak Chamber still exists, are we gonna, is there any fear of alienation or pushing people off with that? I mean, Melinda, what's your feel on that? Is there animosity between you and the Banner Oak Chamber?
No, we get along very well. The main difference with Banner Elk is they work totally on a volunteer basis. So we're there 10 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday. The Banner Elk Chamber works if they have their volunteers, they're running, the chamber. So it's a different capacity of how they operate versus how we do, but we get along fine. We try to always coordinate events so they don't interfere, et cetera. But it is it's a different way we operate than that.
Nicely done, Dan. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Eric, you on board with postponing?
Sure.
Dennis, I think you're. Oh, yeah. Philip, what
Oh,
do you?
yeah.
Okay, that's what, we'll go ahead with that. I will let Webble and some local intel know. I'll put on the back burner.
Somebody make a motion to table this.
I move to table this to further investigation and plan for the website together.
And I second that.
All those in favor, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. That is unanimous. Thank you for keeping me on track. So we accomplished all of that. We could look at our agenda. Philip, have we ever heard about our pool video?
No. Sorry.
Man.
Can we,
We're close.
can we encourage her? I'd be willing to fork out the money if you'll take her to lunch. and say,
Just the
"This is
time.
nice."
I'll try my best. Where did we send that? COVID, I'm sorry. It's just, I hate to say that word, but, yeah.
Do we want to open up any discussion yet on the workshop that we had planned for last year? Obviously, it's not something that we could do the way we had anticipated. I don't think it would work virtual.
That would defeat it, I think. I think that would defeat the purpose to do it virtual. myself. So I think one of the things where we were wanting to bring people together, so they could do questioning, they could hear people.
And you can build relationships.
Right, build relationships.
Networking.
And there may be a building very close soon that maybe when things are settled, it could be in that particular building.
All right, so we're gonna look at 2021 then for that project. Hey, anything more on?
And it was a great idea, and I hate that it,
We got so close.
oh,
We got so close.
you know, we talked about building the relationships. That is so important, but right now, it's just like, you know,
I mean,
it's frustrating.
who would have thought that, you know, that in July of 2019, that in July of 2020, we'd have a meeting, everybody was sitting around with a mask. You know, it's just, well, he's more than 6 feet away from everybody. He's so. So, anyway, hey, anything? Probably haven't had time. COVID just takes care of everything. Philip?
The Main Street America stuff, hey, are any of our towns in that, that's in the county? They've even been around, it's not Main Street.
Philip, updates?
No, nothing more than what we said last time, so Dollar General is moving along. Broadband's moving along, slow, but it's moving. Workforce housing, high school, this new building, so that's good news. And please know that we're trying our best darndest at the local. Perfect. I did talk to, Town of Banner Up this morning about the hospital property, just to see if there's anything, even if anybody's even talking anymore. It's just,
I have the red tape.
I mean, it's easy to talk about our plan. It's hard to write the check.
So you know, if you write that out.
Got it?
Now you're gonna have to put art.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
I mean, it's, you know, the town said it's not dead, but it's not going anywhere, so take that for what it is.
I would add that, unlike the old hospital structural is in fact moving ahead. And they hope to be operational by August next year. I've been working with Victoria, the project manager, a little bit. We've been communicating back and forth, and Philip and I had a conversation earlier today. We'll go into that one. But that, I'm very enthusiastic that that is something that is in fact going to happen. See that right here in the county. It is heading for 6 o'clock. Does anybody have anything else they would like to add, question, whatever?
I have reached out to another grocery store chain other than that. Had several talks with Greg and Olin and stuff like this. And, so,
Well, I would, if we're gonna get ready to wrap up, I just would want to say, Melinda, your idea this afternoon was a terrific one. Thank you. I'm really enthusiastic about our new direction.
Well,
So-
we'll check it out and see what happens.
So next meeting, Monday, August 31st. And according to what I read with Robert's Rules of Order, I can say, if there are any objections to closing the meeting, hearing no objections, this meeting is adjourned.
Bye.
Maybe I want Becky out of her open space.
Oh, very regal.
If not, this is always available.
And it's very comfortable.
I hope November. I was told by Tim, October 12th.